I want to play a psychoanalytical game. Can you see what happens when we try and map Donald Trump's public figure onto Shrek from DreamWorks? Long story short, I'm watching Shrek and seeing only shooting stars break the mold and hearing Trump's, well, it's true for stars, echo in my head. Then I saw how Shrek viewed human suffering, needs, community, and customs and realized it almost is how Trump projects how he thinks. So why not ask an LLM?
This is a brilliant and surprisingly deep pop culture mashup. Both figures operate as outsiders who weaponize their otherness, using a crude exterior to shield a fragile interior while disrupting a polished establishment. Let's map the psychoanalytical parallels between Donald Trump's public persona and Shrek, focusing on defense mechanisms, projection, and the performance of authenticity. 1. The swamp versus Duloc. The paranoid schizoid position in psychoanalysis. The paranoid schizoid position involves seeing the world in black and white, persecutors versus saviors. Shrek's view. The world is divided. There is his safe, solitary swamp, and then there is Duloc. Duloc is a highly regulated, superficially perfect society run by the diminutive Lord Farquaad. It represents oppressive, inauthentic order. The citizens of Duloc fear and reject the freaks, fairy tale creatures who don't fit the mold. Trump's view. This maps onto the Washington swamp versus real America. The swamp, Duloc, is run by an elite class, the coastal liberals, Reno's Farquads, who impose political correctness and globalist policies that harm the real people. The freaks, in this case, are the deplorables or the silenced majority who are kicked out of the perfect picture of liberal society. 2. Projection. I'm not the one with the problem. Your projection is a defense mechanism where you attribute your own unacceptable feelings or thoughts onto someone else. The mirror scene. Shrek famously asks Donkey, I'm not the one with the problem, okay. It's the world that seems to have a problem with me. He perceives the world's disgust, but he masks his deep hurt over this rejection with anger. The Trump parallel. This is the core of Trump's witch hunt rhetoric. When criticized, the immediate response is that the media, the Democrats, or the globalists, are the ones who are corrupt, lying, or sick. By constantly projecting malice onto the enemy, he or his public persona externalizes his own internal conflicts and insecurities, turning them into an external war. 3. The ogre is the real, versus the Farquaad is the fake. This is where the only shooting stars break the mold, and it's true for stars comes in. The authenticity trope. Shrek is crude, he farts, he eats gross things, and he hates social niceties. The film positions this not as a flaw, but as authenticity. In contrast, Lord Farquaad is physically short, a metaphor for inadequacy, and compensates with enormous castles, pageantry, and a desperate need to be perceived as a real king by marrying Fiona. The Trumpian brand. Trump's appeal to his base rests heavily on the idea that he isn't a polished politician. He breaks the mold of the teleprompter reader. When he says, it's true for stars, he aligns himself with the shooting star, Shrek, who breaks the mold, rather than the static, manufactured stars, Farquads, of the Hollywood Washington establishment. 4. The knight in shining armor versus the ogre rescuer. Fiona expects to be rescued by Prince Charming, a tall, handsome, cultured man. Instead, she is rescued by an ogre who is ugly, rude, and socially awkward. The dynamic. Trump's public figure often positions itself as the ogre savior. The working-class Fiona in the tower is waiting for a typical savior, Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney, the Bushes, who will play by the rules. But those saviors never truly get it. The rescue. The ogre arrives. He doesn't speak in careful policy papers, he speaks in raw emotion and brute force. He says what he's thinking, like Shrek yelling at the villagers, which feels like a rescue from the suffocating political correctness of Duloc. 5. The defense against shame. The mud bath at the start of the film, Shrek bathes in mud, uses toothpaste made of bug juice, and scares away intruders. This is a reaction formation. He leans so hard into being a monster that he preemptively rejects society before it can reject him. The insecurity. Deep down, Shrek just wants to be left alone because he assumes he is unworthy of love or community. The political persona. Trump's constant need to attack, belittle, and dominate the narrative is a fortress built against the shame of being seen as a loser or an outsider. By being the loudest, crudest, and most aggressive person in the room, he ensures he is the one doing the rejecting, rather than the one being rejected. Conclusion. The defense of the wounded self. If we map Trump onto Shrek, we see a figure who constructs a massive, terrifying exterior to protect a very simple, vulnerable need, to be accepted for who he is without having to change. Shrek only lets his guard down when he realizes Donkey and eventually Fiona accept the monster. The question the psychoanalytical game leaves us with is: in Trump's public figure, is there a donkey or a Fiona that gets past the roar, or is the performance of the ogre now the only thing left?
That someone was like, it's kind of fucked up to say that there's one pedophile Jew out there who kind of controls all of the politicians and runs the media. Oh, that is real? Oh, that's everything I said is true? All right, I got a lot of things I got to relearn.
Further.
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
It's true with stars that they can grab women by the...
Oh, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not
and he loves Israel